Hi, thanks for tuning in here today. Today we're going to be doing a fun little painting. I hope you can follow along with me. Tell you what, let me have them run the colors across the screen that you'll need, and they'll be in the same order I have them on my palette, starting with my titanium white all the way to my cadmium yellow. While they're doing that, let me tell you what I got done up here. I have my regular 16 by 20 inch canvas, pre-stretched, double primed, and what I did prior to adding my liquid white was I did some designs. I don't know if you could see it through the camera, but I just sketched out a little uh, image I had in mind like 30 minutes ago before starting the camera. And then I let it dry for like 5 minutes, and I put a coat of liquid white as thin as I could. Rather than that, we could get started with today's painting. I thought today we could just loosen up and do a nice simple painting that just brightens up a room. So we'll see what we can get done today. We'll just go ahead and add in a little bit of cadmium yellow. Just a little bit. Shoom. And we'll bring up the color up to here and go across. Let's go into a little bit of alizarin crimson. And all I'm using is the 2-inch brush. Pretty simple, and it blocks most of your paint quickly rather than taking a while. You've seen how long it takes for me to do paintings when I start using tiny brushes. It's no good. I mean, the outcome's really nice. I think you guys can agree about that, but oh god, like 30 minutes comparison to an hour, almost double. And we'll go into a little bit of phthalo blue, and we gotta make a lavender color. Just mixing it up in the brush, seeing what we get. A little more blue. But yeah, recently I haven't had enough time to allocate to this. I love doing this for you guys, but God, stuff has been piling up on me, one on top of another, and not to use it as an excuse, but I couldn't get the time. But now we're back. We're back and running. Look, nice, soft, gentle sky. Don't want to over exaggerate it a bit. You know what? A little more. Let me use a palette knife. We're gonna use a little bit of blue, a little bit of crimson. Let's mix up the lavender using a palette knife. Hopefully like that the top could look a little darker and contrast that alizarin crimson. Let's give that a shot one more time, but I don't want it too strong. Okay, that's better. I'm just loading very little color though on my brush, because if you load too much, then you're gonna get something very strong. And well, some of you might like it, but I don't want it for this painting to look strong. Okay, we'll put that to the side. We'll grab ourselves another 2-inch brush and just blend it out. Okay, now let's go ahead and let's add some distant trees out in there. We'll go into a little bit of that lavender and a little touch of yellow. Little bit of cadmium yellow, just to kind of get a hint of green. That blue in there will turn this green. Loading up. I want it to look distant. There. You know what? It's alright. Sometimes I have those times where I'll second guess myself for a bit. That's completely normal. Thank you for the people who've been sticking with me. I know there was a point in time where I was much more consistent and uploading much more, but life throws stuff at you that just makes a challenge on your everyday. Okay, right here. Just lift up lightly and go across. Now, right here, there'd be a little golden sun rays. Just a little bit. So all I'm gonna do is just gently add in a little highlight right around here and have it fade out. Well, for me, I'm gonna have it fade out. There. There we are. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Nice, simple, and delicate. Now, let's go ahead. We'll use our lavender color. We gotta use that up anyways. And we'll just come right up to here and just decide where your grass lives. There. And just kind of soften it out. And load your brush again and just have at it. I don't know what went flying. I just saw something right now. There. Now we'll add a little bit of black, just a little bit, onto that color. Let's add a little bit of yellow. Just mix up colors at random. There. I know to make this darker, gotta use a little bit of black in there. So I'm using pure black, but trying to kind of blend it out a bit. Make it fade. Make it just fade. There. We'll leave it like so. Now, let's go ahead. We'll grab my flat brush. We're gonna go into a little bit of Van Dyke Brown. Just loading up my brush real good. I want it fully loaded. Now, let's decide. I'm deciding my little dirt pathway comes around here. Now, I see this a lot when I travel to areas like in Mexico. There's several different pathways, but they all connect. Like it splits up. It's like if it's playing hide and seek. Not saying you can't find this anywhere else, just to my recollection, I mostly remember it seen it in Mexico. Ooh, I was kind of puzzled. I was wondering to myself, which path do I take? There, I'll make it go a few little different paths. Maybe right here, just kind of there. I like that. Now, let's go ahead and let me highlight the grass. So we're gonna go into our 2-inch, load it up with cadmium yellow, and let's come up here and just tap, 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 tap. And leave a little bit of layers in it. That way there's a little shadow in there. There. There, we'll just kind of blend it off. We gotta do these little pockets of grass just by tapping. That's all you gotta do. Tap. The brush will do all the other work. All you gotta do is guide it, and you're good to go. Okay. Try and get in those small corners first. The other ones I can go pretty easily. There. There we are. Okay. We'll come back to that in a sec. Almost fell down. That would have been the end of this. Little bit, little bit of brown, little bit of white. Just load up your white. And slightest touch of yellow. Very slight. And just load up your flat brush. Let's come up here and just wiggle that brush and let the bristles expand. And we'll come up here and there we are. And then you can let those branches lead on to other branches. There. Just wherever you feel like there should be a little bit, you put it wherever you feel. No one's here to tell you you have to put it exactly where. The only times you should worry exactly where is when you're working with the photograph. That's why I tend to kind of stay away from those, because I don't like being told exactly what to paint. I'll take ideas. I don't like people controlling my painting all the way. There. Shoot. And we'll go ahead and we'll go into a little bit of alizarin crimson. Just load up the brush and we'll just add in a little highlights. Maybe this is a cherry blossom. you gotta think of each individual leaf. Now we'll come back and add in those light pink colors. But for now, think of all the leaves and the way it would work, the way how the light would shine. It's not the end of the world if you mess up a little bit or slip. We'll fix it up with the pinks, but you want to have the basics down. Okay, a little bit of white, and we'll go into alizarin crimson. Just get this nice pink color. Okay, let's come up here and I'm going to get a little touch of the liquid white just to thin it out. That way it makes our life easier too. Could have gotten away without it, but shoot, why make our life a little harder? Let's make it easier, not harder. There. A couple of lights just shimmering through there. There we are. And just like that, we have our distant cherry blossom. Just distant, not too close. I don't want too much detail. Well, there. Okay. And we'll add in a little highlight. Or just blending colors, really. Not even highlight. There. There we are. Look at that. I'm pretty satisfied with that, me personally. Now, let's go ahead. Little touch of the liquid white. Little touch. You don't want to overdo it. And let's come up here and just lightening up that path and also bringing it back to life. There. Just a little bit at a time. Don't rush it. There we are. Maybe this is a garden of somebody's, or maybe you got lucky and you took your special someone out here to take a little walk. I wish I had someone to take there. Ooh, that would be gorgeous. Anyways, let's go into cadmium yellow and a little bit of grassy area right here. And I'm gonna just smudge it on really right there. Like, I don't really care too much for detail. I'm probably saying you put more detail in the background than the foreground. It's alright. Now, what I want to do is, let me grab a clean 1-inch. We're gonna go ahead and just take it through ivory black. Now you want to pull your brush through paint and wiggle the bristles. And pull it again, and you should get your brush to be sharp. a chiseled edge. Something like so. This one's not too chiseled. It has to be better, but you know what? I'm not trying to take forever in chiseling. Pull it through. Good enough for me. Notice how I said for me. For you guys, if you're doing this, take your time, chisel your brush, add enough paint. I highly recommend you try this out because it forces you to learn how to use the 1 inch. And it does good evergreen trees quickly if you're doing big ones. Like this brush will knock it out of the park compared to using your fan brush. But you do use up a good amount of paint, but shoot, I would have still been around here with the fan brush, even with the number 6. There we are. Load up my brush once again, and we'll add in his little friend. Maybe his friend's a little shorter than him. Trees can't be alone. They always live in pairs. People always plant them as 2 rather than 1. There we are. There. Pull it through and just have at it. There we are. Bada bing, bada boom. We'll go into a little bit of cadmium yellow. Same dirty brush, and chisel that brush. So wiggle it through the paint on both sides and pull it through. This is how it's supposed to look like, nice and stuck, like it was glued. And this is where you gotta be careful, because if you mess up, you'll notice it. That's why usually here, when I'm doing this with the highlights, I take a little more time just to ensure I get it right. And I'm not stuck with something that I'm not too satisfied with. There's times where I try to speed through this and I'm with the 1 inch through some trees and I'm like, God, why'd I speed? I should have just slowed it down a little bit. And that's the issue we all have at times. We all want to speed through things. Like in life, we want to speed through things, go through things real quick. But sometimes it's required to slow down. You have to slow down and see the situation for what it is. There lives another tree. Right there now. Now, let's go ahead. A little bit of brown. And we'll just... Oops, I did it by accident, but oh well. We'll put in another tree here. Just maybe this time it'll be a different tree. Just to break it up. There we go. Bada bing, bada boom. There. Okay. We'll go into... Shoot, what the heck? We'll go into this 1-inch brush I use for the pinks. Little bit of blue, little bit of crimson. We'll do another cherry blossom. Just to kind of break up all that green that's around it. Okay, let's go into a little more crimson just to start giving it that reddish. And think about where the light's hitting it. I'm thinking like center, but the light would peek through it at times. There we are. And we'll grab a little bit of liquid white. And let's see what we got to work with. It's like a lavender-ish color. Not too satisfied with that. Trying to find something I could clean up with. A little bit of crimson. Some white. Yeah. We need that pink. Let's see. There we are. A little bit of liquid white. Sometimes I set this easel too high up where I kind of have to tippy toe a bit. You could see when I go up in height. There. There we are. Now, shoot, just to make it look nice, a branch right there. And we'll do that. A little bit of highlights. I think we just need shadows. So a little bit of black, a little bit of brown. There. There we are. We can always fill it back in. Look, just grab it and tap it. Okay, now we got this area free. We'll grab our good trusty palette knife. We'll put our pink off to the side. A little bit of brown. And first, shoot. Just tap on some grass real quick. Okay. I'll just go all the way. And right there. Let's go ahead and maybe you see maybe you see just a little bit of a cabin peeking out. There we are. And just kind of fill it in. There. I'm gonna use my flat brush. Not the best one, but it's the only brush with brown. So it's called not wanting to wash an extra brush. See, I don't wash my brushes with paint thinner no more, so you can say it's not the most fun is having to go and rinse them. Yeah, so anytime I can avoid washing the brush, I'll take that way out. Okay, let's go ahead. A little bit of highlight and a little bit over here. We'll just put a few little slabs. Okay. And just a few indications here and there. Damn, I feel slower at this. Maybe I have to retire from making videos. What do you guys think? Am I getting slower from how I was before? There we are. Just kind of cut that off. And we'll grab a little bit of red, a little bit of yellow. Let's get an orange color. We'll cut the small side of the knife and just clean it off and give it a second pass. There. We'll go into a little bit of white. You could barely even notice the white, but it's alright. And shoot, just bring it out there. Now, one last thing before I end this off. Let's add in a couple of bushes. There we are. That took up a good amount of space. I wasn't expecting it to go that much. Okay. And just bada bing, bada boom. Let's grab some crimson. And let's shoot. Boom, boom, boom. right here as well. A few little firecrackers. And just pull it through. Boom. A bit of blue. Pull it one direction when you're pulling that paint. And just like that, you have yourself a completed painting. I wish you all the best of luck. I wish you the best endeavors. And let me know in the comments down below. Now, I got myself thinking. Am I slowing down? Am I getting too slow? Should I end these videos and this series? But anyways, apart from all that, I'd like to wish each and every one of you the best of luck, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care, my friends. Goodbye.